Namaste yogis, welcome to my channel. My name is Kassandra and today I'm going to take you through a Yin Yoga class for flexibility. You are going to need 2 blocks for our class today, and I'm also using these little yoga jellies. It's just to pad my knees, so don't worry if you don't have this at home. If you want to buy it, I'll link to it down below in the description box. But if you know that you have sensitive knees, maybe just grab like a towel or a blanket or a pillow, or even just put an extra mat on top. So Yin Yoga, a passive practice. We're gonna hold poses for 3.5 minutes to 4.5 minutes or so in each pose. And we're gonna start in supported fish. So I like to have the blocks on their second level. The first one goes in between the shoulder blades and the other one supports the back of your head. And this is really working on flexibility through your spine. So that first one in between the shoulder blades, second one behind the back of the head. And if you'd like to focus as well on hip flexibility at the same time, you're going to take a butterfly variation with your legs, soles of the feet together, knees apart, and reaching the arms wherever you'd like. So one way to intensify this pose is to reach your arms up overhead, but it might just be too much. I know for me it's too much to do first thing, so I like to keep my arms by my side, but remember it's an option you can take at home. So really important that we find our edge in Yin Yoga, meaning just the right amount of sensation. It's not the maximum amount of sensation you're able to endure. It's really not about that. Less is more in Yin, just because we are going to be here for a few minutes. And once you feel comfortable, you can focus in on your breath, calming your mind, and we'll hold the pose. you had your arms up overhead, slide them back in. If you had the butterfly shape with your legs, just lift the knees back up. And we'll just ease out of the pose. You can tuck your chin into your chest, coming all the way up to take a seat. And keep your blocks close by. As you move in here, we're going to come into a wide-legged fold. So into your straddle pose, stretch out your legs out to the sides, just finding your edge with this one here. And rather than right away going to the center and folding, we're going to turn over to our right leg and maybe grab your blocks here as you fold over towards your right shin. And you can always prop up your blocks so that you have multiple. And you can also sit up on a blanket and elevate your hips if it feels challenging to fold forward. So again, just remind yourself we're here for about 3 minutes. So there's no need to push or to go really, really, really deep. Especially with forward folds, your body is naturally going to soften anyway and will naturally progress you a little further into the pose. So don't feel like you need to do so much. Keep reminding yourself, less is more. Relax your arms, let your spine round, and just breathe here. Bring some energy back into your arms so you can push into the floor to curl and lift back up nice and slow. And we'll just go ahead and explore the second side so you can face over towards the opposite leg and start to hinge at the hips and fold. And don't assume that what happened on one side is going to happen here on the second one. You might need to go higher, you might be able to go lower. Try not to attach any kind of judgment to your experience. This is really an opportunity for us to just accept our bodies wherever they are. This is not a competition. We have nothing to prove. No one is watching us or judging us. I mean, you guys are watching me, but I'm assuming you're not judging me. At least I hope you're not. Just a good opportunity to practice self-compassion. And it's just a practice of being curious with where your body is at in this moment. So relax your arms, relax your spine, let your legs be heavy, and just find a slow, steady breath rhythm. Push into your arms again. Go slow, continue to breathe even as you transition out of this one. So for the last variation of this pose, we're going to fold straight forward. A little bit of a bend in one or both knees is totally fine. Relax your arms and just settle into the shape. Try to get your breath to go all the way down to your low belly and low back. Push your hands into the floor, nice and slow. We ease out And rest assured, we'll give our hamstrings and the back of the legs a bit of a break here. So you can use your hands to help the knees come back in. And we'll focus a little bit more on the front of the leg into our hip flexors, coming into a dragon pose, which is just the Yin Yoga name of low lunge. So this is where I'll be using my little yoga jellies here. So patting your left knee if you need to, and maybe keep your blocks somewhere close by. We're going to step the right foot forward to the top of the mat, in between the palms. And you might feel more comfortable with blocks under the palms. This is how I like to do my low lunge. I just find it better this way. Some people like to have their hands down, or you might even choose to come down onto your forearms as well, which can be really nice. So choosing the variation of the lunge that feels the best for you at this time. So because it's a yin pose, you want to try to relax your hips so that gravity pulls them down. Soften your shoulders down and away from your ears. Relax your stomach fully. And remember that if you need to, you can always come out of a pose earlier. Just honor your body, how it feels today. Slow, steady breaths. Start to push your right heel into the floor to slowly shift your hips back. And before we go and do this on the other side, we're going to take a child's pose with a variation of thread the needle. So big toes together, knees as wide as you would like them to be. And then you're going to reach your left arm underneath you so that shoulder and ear come down to the floor. And you might keep your right hand pushed into the ground to twist a little more. Some people like to straighten the right arm. Others like to bring the right hand to the low back, whatever feels the best. So the right arm needs to push a little and stay engaged, but try to relax the rest of your body. And depending on where you had your right hand, you can slide it back in, and we'll just push back up onto hands and knees. And we'll set ourselves up for the low lunge or the dragon pose on the second side. So this time, patting your right knee, maybe with a blanket or this little yoga jelly like what I have, so that you can step your left foot forward to the top of the mat, maybe with blocks, maybe without. Try to repeat what you did on that first side. Melting your hips forward and down, trying to keep the left knee over the top of your ankle. Make any little adjustments that help you settle in the pose. And I like to close my eyes, keeping the focus inward. If you notice your mind beginning to wander, just come back to the rhythm of your breath. You might even repeat a one-word mantra to focus your mind. Any word of your choosing, it doesn't matter. just check in also with the lower belly. So I know for me, sometimes I don't even notice, but I'm kind of sucking in through my stomach or just kind of tensing up my abdominals. So for Yin Yoga, we don't need this. Just relax your belly fully. Push your left heel into the ground. Just slowly send your hips back. Go slow here. There's no need to rush through our transitions. Just feeling the effects of that big hip opening. And coming back into our wide-legged child's pose. This time we're going to do thread the needle on the other side. So big toes together, knees apart. You're going to reach your right arm underneath you until shoulder and ear come down to the floor. And you get to really decide and play around here to figure out where it feels best for your left arm and palm. And bring your left hand and arm back in, push into your palm, and lift on up. And before we do anything else, just take a few rounds of cat and cow, tabletop pose on hands and knees. Just like a little counter pose sequence. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, curl tailbone up. Exhale, round your spine, chin to chest. About one more here. And we'll release. You can keep your props off to the side. Lower all the way down onto your back. And we'll just draw the knees in towards the belly, giving it a big squeeze. You can rock a little bit side to side. And just one last pose here before we close and go into Shavasana. We'll take our sleeping swan, which is reclined pigeon pose, crossing your right ankle over the top of your left knee. Flex your foot as you press your knee away from you. And then you can reach out with your arms and start to draw that left thigh in towards your belly. Relax your shoulders, your upper back, your head. So you do need to use a little bit of arm strength here in order to keep your legs as they are. And that's totally fine, but use as little as possible and try to keep your legs relaxed. We're focusing on the outer right hip. And carefully release. Before we go to the other side, just check in to see what would feel good for you here, and maybe straightening out your legs or just letting the knees drop from side to side. And we'll go over to the other side, crossing the left ankle over the top of your right knee. Flex that foot, and whenever you're ready, we'll find Sleeping Swan, reaching through with your arms, holding wherever is accessible. As you draw your right thigh in towards your chest, keep head and shoulders soft and relaxed on the floor. Minimal arm strength. And getting a little deeper into that outer left hip. And let's release from this pose. Again, any little movements or adjustments that feel good here. And we'll be easing ourselves into Shavasana, our final resting pose. So whenever you feel ready, you can stretch out with your arms and your legs. Rolling your shoulders down and away from your ears, turning your palms to face up towards the sky. can remove any tension from your facial muscles, from your neck and your shoulders. And just observe how your body feels. Giving yourself this gift of self-care. Taking some cleansing breaths. And giving yourself permission to slow down, to do less, and to receive. Receiving the gifts of your practice. And begin to deepen your breath. Move a little through your fingers and your toes, turning your head side to side. And extend your arms up overhead, stretch out. And you can turn one side. Push your arms into the floor, lifting up. Close your eyes once you're seated and join your palms at your heart, solidifying that connection to yourself, your breath, your practice. And you might choose a word that represents how you feel right now, how you want to continue to feel for the rest of the day. A one-word intention to hold with you. And we'll anchor this in with the chant of Om one time. Inhaling to chant, big breath in. Namaste. Thank you so much, yogis, for doing this Yin Yoga practice for flexibility. I hope you enjoyed it. I have a lot of Yin Yoga content on my channel, so if you want to do more, check out the playlist down below. And if you are a teacher or you're just looking to learn more about Yin, I also have a 30-hour Yin Yoga teacher training, which is all done online. The link to that is down below as well. Thank you. Please subscribe, and hopefully I'll practice again with you soon. Namaste.